Leroy's Pokemon Sapphire walkthrough Part 2. Alright, so last time I left it up to you guys to decide who my starter would be. It was between Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip. There were a ton of votes, so I'm going to thank everyone who voted. But in the end, Mudkip came up with 31% of the votes. Torchic came up with 34% of the votes. And finally, Trico, by just a bit, won with 35% of the votes, so that is who my starter Pokemon is gonna be. I'm actually really happy you guys voted for Trico, because Trico's probably the least used, and it's definitely the most challenging. If you really, to be honest, Mudkip or Torchic, probably the better choices. They're probably gonna be easier to beat the game with, but Trico's a bit more original, not too many people use it. So yeah, you're gonna have to fight off this Poochyena, which is really easy to beat. I mean, if you're losing this battle, I really don't know what I can tell you, other than you're really bad at this game. So yeah. So, after you save Professor Birch's life, he'll bring you back to his lab. And then he, goes on to tell you about how you're just like your father, who's actually a gym leader in this game. You'll be fighting him later on. And then he gives you the Pokemon that you chose. So, we finally got our Trico, so now we can give it a nickname. Now, I'm just going to name it something kind of funny, because I don't really have any other great ideas for a nickname. So, we're just going to go with this. I've never seen anyone nickname it this before, so I guess it's original. Tree Ninja. Yeah. So, there we go. And then he goes and says you should go meet May. Yeah, what do you think? No. I don't think I want to go meet May. And he says, oh yeah, you should go meet my kid. Then he just keeps telling you the same thing. So eventually you have to say yes. He just forces you to go meet his daughter. So yeah, now we can leave LITTLEROOT Town finally and move on. So for the first time we can actually explore Route L1 and head to the next city. Or the next town, actually. So let's see. This guy tells you that wild Pokemon jump out in the grass. Speaking of wild Pokemon, while you're in here you can find Zigzagoon, Poochyena, and Wurmple. None of them are that great of Pokemon. They're just average, typical beginning of the game Pokemon. And here's our first wild encounter. And it is a Zigzagoon. Now, this is definitely not the last you'll see of Zigzagoons. You're going to be seeing these throughout the entire game. They're basically the Rattatas, or the Sentrets of this generation. So yeah, basically the most basic Pokemon you can find. And already we're in OLDALE Town, so you should talk to this lady first, because you can get a free item if you do. She'll show you where the Pokemart is, and I guess that's nice if you're new to the game, and then she gives you a free potion. So yeah. And then anytime you want, you can go in there and buy, potions, Pokeballs, good stuff. OLDALE Town, where things start off scarce. And now we can step all over the flowers, yay! Yeah, whatever. So let's see, what do you have to say? Oh yeah, she tells you that you can save your game anytime by going to the menu. In case you're new to the game and you just can't figure it out. By the way, if you try to go over here, this guy's just gonna be like, oh, stop, I found footprints of super rare Pokemon. So yeah, he has to investigate, because he sees footprints, so of course there's super rare Pokemon over there. Anyways, there's a lady over here. By the way, I'm just gonna kind of go through the town, showing you everything. And they kind of just have some beginner advice for you. Now, what I find funny, like, in all of these houses, these people don't even have beds. Like, where do they sleep at night? They just, like, walk around all day long? I don't know. So let's barge into this last house. And, let's see. In Pokemon Battle, they eventually level up and become stronger. Basically, at the beginning of the game, people are just going to tell you stuff that's useful if it's your first time playing. If you've played this game a bunch, you really don't need to talk to any of these people. So, yeah, now, since the route to the west is blocked off, we're going to have to head up north here into Route 103, and over here you can find Zigzagoon, Poochyena, and Wingull, which is a water and flying type you couldn't find earlier. Now, over here, there's kind of like a shortcut to a new area, so don't worry about that. Instead, wild battle. Alright, I'm probably going to skip out all the wild battles in this game just because they're annoying, and this is May right here, the girl we were talking to earlier. Professor Birch's daughter, the one that he's forcing us to go meet. So yeah, you can go ahead and talk to her, and she wants to have a battle. So yeah, this is rival battle number 1. Yeah, May's your rival, and if you chose the female character, you will be battling the guy that I'm using right now. And because your rival likes to be a jerk, they're going to pick the Pokemon that you're weak against, which in this case is Torchic. So yeah, jeez, critical hit, wow. Basically, you just want to keep using your attacking move and you'll have no problem. Okay, wow, 2 critical hits in a row? Are you serious? Well, this is why we got that potion earlier, because now we can use that. And if you have at least 1 potion, you're pretty much automatically going to win the fight. Also, we got another potion way earlier in the game when we first moved into our house. So yeah, just keep using Pound or Scratch or Tackle, whatever move you have, and eventually you'll kill the thing. So yeah. And there we go, we've defeated our rival. And by the way, oh yeah, we got up a level. But by the way, even though this is our rival, and we learned Absorb, which is our first grass type move. But yeah, but even though we beat a rival, you know, I'd hardly call this person a rival. They're more of just like your friend going through the game. Kind of like Dawn from Diamond and Pearl. She's not really like a rival. She gives you items and stuff, and she actually doesn't like, you know, say things like, smell you later. But yeah, that's kind of the only thing I didn't like about this game, because by the way, I love this game, but I always thought that, you know, the rival should be more of like an enemy, sort of, you know, like a friendly enemy, someone who actually like, you know, like Gary is kind of like a good rival, and Barry, they're kind of like friends, but you know, they're still like, you don't like them. But in this game, they kind of make your rival someone likable. So yeah, basically you have to go back to the lab, and you can talk to Professor Birch. He's like, I heard you beat May on your first try. Now, even if you've lost to her like 5 times, and then you finally beat her, he will still say you beat her on your first try, which is kind of funny. But anyways, this is the part of the game where you get the Pokedex. And the Pokedex is just a handy little thing to keep track of all the Pokemon you've seen. Obviously, if you've watched the anime, you know what it is. So, you know, you and May both get a Pokedex, and then May is nice enough to give you a Pokeball. And pretty much what you're going to find out is that every time she sees you in this game, she's going to give you an item. So yeah. She actually gives you 5 Pokeballs, so, you know, you can get right into catching stuff. Now, I'm not going to try to, you know, go crazy catching as many Pokemon as I can in this game, probably. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Now, on your way out, you're going to find your mom. And since, you know, your mom must have felt bad for, you know, cramming you in the back of a truck, she gives you running shoes as a gift. So you can press the B button, then you can actually run around, which is so nice because you don't have to, you know, walk through the entire game like you did back in Red and Blue and Gold and Silver. You know, I find it really weird. It's like you cannot run unless you have the running shoes. Like, if you have regular shoes, you can't run, but if you have running shoes, then you can run. It doesn't really make any sense at all, but yeah. And another wild battle. Why is it that we find wild Pokemon right on the edge of the grass, like, every time over here? I don't know. But yeah, there's a Wurmple. Wurmple's kind of like the equivalent of like a Caterpie or a Weedle. Not really too strong, but you know, you can make it useful. Now, this guy over here, remember him? He's like, I finished sketching those footprints, but they were my own footprints, so he pretty much just wasted your time. But anyways, this is Route 102. Over here you can find Poochyena, Zigzagoon, Wurmple, Ralts, and Surskit. If you're playing Sapphire, you can find Lotad, and in Ruby you can find Seedot. Now, right off the bat, I'm actually going to be searching for one of those Pokemon up here in the grass. So yeah, we're going to go try to catch our first Pokemon. Finally, I found it! It's a Ralts! This seriously took forever to find. It's super rare, but I finally found it. So yeah, Ralts is a Psychic-type Pokemon. You usually can't find Psychic types this early in the game, so it's pretty nice. It's a great special attacker. I'd highly recommend it if you're looking for a Psychic Pokemon to catch, or just something right off the bat. Unfortunately, it only knows Growl right now, so I guess that makes it easy to catch, but it's going to be kind of hard to train up. But I don't think we'll have too much trouble doing that. But yeah, let's go ahead and throw a Pokeball now so we don't accidentally kill it with a Pound, like on a critical hit or something. So, we should be able to catch it. Alright, there we go! First Pokemon caught, and we've already added 2 Pokemon to our team in just this episode, so yeah. And there's Ralts, whatever you want to call it. And I have a nickname planned out, even though it's a male Pokemon, I just want to name it this anyways, just because I don't feel like coming up with a new nickname. So yeah, Athena. That's going to be your nickname. So, we have our first 2 Pokemon, Shriko and Ralts, so we're ready to, you know, get our adventure going now that we have a team here. So next time we're going to be, you know, trying to take on Route 102, and we're going to be fighting some trainers, so stay tuned for the next episode.